What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be adding some underbody lights to Brian's hardbody, and we're also going to be switching the
vents that go right above the hood by the windshield.
His are messed up. One of them is really faded and all the other one just disappeared. So So this is the light kit that we're going to be throwing in the truck. We also bought some aluminum flats. They are 1/8 by 3/4 inch. We're going to use those to make our little bracket and hold those in place inside of the hardbody or outside of the hardbody. This kit is from Amazon. We're going to link to it in the description so you guys can buy it if you guys want. It's pretty good for, you know, $25 or so. I don't remember what it was. It was like 25 or
the LED kit?
Yeah, the LED kit.
I think it was like $32 even.
There you go, like $32, so it shouldn't be too bad. Then we have the covers here. As you can see, we are missing this one already. Luckily it came with everything, so it has the covers, and then it also has the little clips that go here.
Hardware.
There you go, comes with the hardware. Pretty nicely packaged. It came from Germany. Right, Brian?
Yeah, it took about a month.
Took about a month, so took a little bit. You know how everything's right now with the shipping and the coronavirus and all that stuff. So this one's also pretty cracked and old, so we're gonna swap that out, and then we're gonna be ready to go ahead and put the lights in here. So we're gonna make some brackets to put along the side here, one to put on the back, and then figure out what we're gonna do with the front. We might use also the aluminum flats, or maybe try to figure out if we can hook to anywhere in there. So let's go ahead and get started. So now we're gonna measure the light, see how long it is. 48?
Yeah, 48 and 7/8.
Okay, so it's almost as long as this one. Yeah. This is basically 48 inches. And what we need to do now is we're gonna cut the L shapes, potentially cut the aluminum flat, and then try to fit the light on it. Now, if we cut the flat, it's going to be obviously not as stable on the back. We want to keep the stable part in the front, and then we're going to have to figure out maybe the same piece that we cut out of the flat, we're going to use it in the back and somehow fit it in there so it stays pretty consistent. But let's go ahead and do that on the truck, and then we'll show you guys. All right, guys, so after a lot of engineering and thought put into this, initially we had said we were going to cut the bar and make some brackets on the side frame bits of it, but we actually figured out that it's going to be easier for us on the drill and everything if we just make some small holes here. You see our dot? We're going to basically drill a hole through this little side, drill another one back here, and then use our L shapes to hold it like this. So our bar is going to be right here on the top. That way we don't have to cut anything, and it actually can go straight all the way to the back without interruptions. Because we were having too many issues where it was starting to hit stuff, and it could be on the way, and this is going to make our life a lot easier. So let's go ahead and start drilling in there so we can set it up. So these are the bolts that we're using right now. We have a combination of number 10 24 by 1/2 inch and some number 10s 24 by 3/8. They're the ones that are going to be holding our brackets in place. So to do the holes for that, we're going to use the 3/16 drill bit, and then we'll have Brian go ahead and do that over there. Here, put that one on there. So we have our hole marked up right there. We just need to drill, and then we can start putting the brackets in place. We also need to drill some holes for the plate itself, but we're gonna do that after we have the holes in place so we can mark it. Alright guys, so we put this one in. As you can see, the bracket is here. It's only in here hand tight because we need to put our flat and make our markings. We have the next one over here as well. So we're gonna put the flat in there, make our markings of where the holes are gonna go, and then drill that so we can actually start tying it and putting everything together and putting the light on it so we can move on to the other side and do the wiring. So let's go ahead and do that. So now that we have our holes and our brackets basically in place, the best way to go about it is going to be to take the bracket, basically tighten it into where it needs to go on the flat, then put our light in it, and then start putting it up where it needs to go on this side, because it's a lot easier to tighten everything here on the bottom than it is to tighten everything on the top when you have, you know, the bracket and everything set up in there. So that's going to be the best way to go about it. So we're going to move on and do the light and then show you guys. All right, so we cleaned up our bar. We had some degrees here and everything, making sure it's clean, because we're gonna put the 3M tape from the light in it, and then we're gonna zip tie it on it. But like I said, first we need to do the brackets, so we're gonna go ahead and put some nuts and screws in here. Make sure we put some Loctite, and we should be good to go to put them in the truck. So let's go ahead and do that. So now we have our light installed in the flat. We did some zip ties. I mean, it has 3M tape, but you know how that goes. If it gets wet and all that stuff, the 3M tape might start losing some of that stickiness. So we went ahead and did 4 zip ties on it. We have the bar all ready. Everything's tight. You know, our bracket is in place with some Loctite as well. So basically, this side is ready to go into the truck. So we're gonna go ahead and put that one in there, and then we'll move on to the right side and start working with that. So let's do it. All right, guys, so we have our light installed here already. Hopefully you guys can see well. We got our nut and bolt here, and as you can see, the bracket's inside, and from outside you can't even tell there's a light. That's exactly what we're going for. We're going for a nice clean look. Brian's having some issues back there with the other light, no, but good. It's good? Yeah. All right, so we got it good. Now it is kind of sagging a little bit on the back. We're gonna try to fix that a little bit later. We might pull it back with like a zip tie or something into some place back there. But you know, even if you do see it, it's not a big deal. It's just a little bit of it. We wanted to have it as even as possible. You could technically move the light forward. If you move it all the way to the front, then it's gonna be completely hidden and you won't see that part. But Brian wanted to have it a little bit more even in the middle of the truck, so that's why we have that back there. But let's go ahead. We're done with this side. Basically, we're going to be doing the wiring a little bit after. We're going to get the other side first and then start doing the wiring after that. All right, guys, so we're going to do the next side, but we just noticed someone tried to lift the truck by the frame rail there. If you have a hardbody, don't lift your car from there. Not a lot of cars you're supposed to lift it from that point, but use the frame. That's what the frame is for. That way you won't have this issue here. So we're gonna try to strain it out a little bit, and then we're gonna be ready to go and do this side for the lights. All right, guys, so he's zip tying the back of it just to make sure it's kind of out of the way, but we are basically done with the right side as well. We have our wire here. We're gonna be using that and putting it up. Hey, you do have a fender liner on this side. We're gonna put it behind the fender liner. There's no fender liner on the left side, so we're just gonna have to work with that. But we are now ready to move to the front, and then we're gonna leave the back for the last bit we're gonna do. So that's the longest one, and it might give us some trouble. All right, guys, so we've been looking at the front and trying to figure out what's gonna be the best placement for the lights. And I think we finally find there's 2 little kind of tabs that stick out. There's this little tab right here. It's going to be right next to your actual pull, and then if you look on the other side, we have the exact same tab right there. So we're going to drill holes in there, and then we're going to put the bracket facing the front, because if you do it facing the back, it's going to hit this metal parts right here. So by doing it in the front, we're also going to have to cut our flat. Is going to be 36.5. The light is about 36 inches, so we want to have just a little bit extra space. Just so the whole light is in the bar and it's not hanging or anything like that. So Brian's gonna go ahead and cut it. All right, guys, so we got the front all figured out. We have our bar right here nice and cut. We have the holes ready for the brackets. Now on this one, since it's a little bit different than the sides, the way we're gonna do it is we're gonna put our bracket on the bottom with the screw going up. So let me see, let's show him Brian here on the thing. So we're gonna do this. We gotta check, maybe that might be too small. No, it should be fine.
That's good.
And then we're gonna put our nut on top, and then we're gonna have the light going through the bottom of it. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright guys, so we finished the front and it's all nice and tight. We have it all bolted up, all how it should be. We have our zip ties, everything, our cables hanging there. As you can see right now, you're gonna be able to see it from the front, most likely when it's lit up. But eventually Brian is gonna get a balance that's gonna go here. So then that's gonna be hidden behind the balance, and then we don't have to worry about it being visible. For the meantime, he just had to deal with it. I mean, it's whatever. It's gonna look cool anyways. Now, we went ahead and cut our bar for the rear. We have our holes drilled out, or he's gonna drill the holes right now. And then I'm gonna show you guys. The rear is actually gonna be even simpler than the front because there's a couple holes that are already in there. So we're gonna take advantage of those. And then if, hopefully the drill's not too loud. If for some reason it's too dim or something like that, then we might come back and redo it with some brackets. But for the meantime, we're gonna take advantage of this. We're gonna take advantage of this hole right here and of this one right here. We're just gonna drill the holes for that on that bracket and bolt it up to that one. And we think it's gonna be enough. I mean, the LEDs are very bright, so that should be plenty of light coming down on the rear. Okay guys, so now we did the flat in here. We have the aluminum piece where it should be. We have our screws in place. So now this is not gonna move anywhere. We're just gonna clean it up real quick. Then we have our LED light that we're gonna start putting from that side this way with our cables that way, because we're gonna run all the cables from the driver's side. Alright, as you can see, we have the light already all installed. We're just cutting the zip ties. So we're putting 4 on all of them just to make sure we're good, just in case the 3M tape does not want to hold in place. But now we're basically ready to start running the wire through it. We're gonna need some bigger zip ties probably for that, and just make sure we're running it out of the way, out of the exhaust way. We don't want anything to burn up or, you know, get exposed. Alright guys, so we are running the wiring now. Now for the side, since we decided to do the driver's side to put it inside the cabin, it actually ended up working out pretty well. But it is a little bit tedious to try to get your hand inside there. But if you can see here, we have this harness going in there. We made a small cut on the bottom of it, ran the wires from the inside to the outside, and then we're running the wires all the way. So from the inside, let me show you. We didn't have, I thought we were gonna have to remove the covers, but we didn't. I'm gonna put this right back where it was. But as you can see, our box is inside of here. We're gonna tape it up somewhere, run the wiring, and then we have our cigarette lighter plug right here, which is gonna just go right there. But we're gonna clean this up. We were trying to finish up the wires on the inside. Right here is really gonna be really hard to see, but basically if you put your hand behind this block, you're gonna be able to feel that plug that we cut to get in there. Obviously it's easier if you have 2 persons to do it, like we did right now, so someone can feed the wire and the other person can grab it. So if you have a friend that could help you out, definitely get someone to help you out with that. Okay guys, now we are done routing everything. Let me show you here. For the front one and the right side, everything was good. We had enough cable. All the excess cable, we just bundle it up and zip tied it to the side, as you can tell here. Then we're gonna put all the bolts that go on the fender liner, and this whole section is gonna be nice and protected. We're gonna have our light be good and everything else be good. Now for the rear, we ran the line as far as we could. We zip tied it along the same bracket and everything where we had, let me clean up the camera here, where we had the light, and then far back here, it managed to get all the way to the back, as you can see from here, hopefully. Then we put the extension and ran it along the frame to keep it as protected as we could, all the way to the front. And then out of the way. And as you can see, no more cables hanging down here. So then our backlight is nice and plugged in. So for the passenger side, we also had to use an extension there. But same thing, we ran it right along the front of it. We figured this way we'll keep it as cool and out of any hot parts as possible. Then from there, we ran it through this hole. Now he's missing the fender liner on the passenger side. We zip tied it over here. Then if we move through the bottom, we basically zip tied it along where the passenger fender liner will be. So that way it's out of the way and it's going to be nice and protected as well, since he doesn't have that. Maybe we'll try to find a fender liner for him eventually. But right here, we also tape as much as we could, make sure it's all nice and dry, and it's going down to the passenger side. Alright guys, so we are all done. As you can see, no cables hanging. We ran all the cables through the top. We put the box right here on this little place, and then we're just running everything to this side. Now it's really bright right now, but are they on? I'll turn them on. So you can see we got some lights. So that's the whole process to get them on. It took some time. I mean, it's tedious running all the wiring and doing all the brackets and stuff, but it should be on point now. Now we're just gonna wait till it gets a little bit darker, take some shots when it's darker so you guys can see the whole look on the outside, and we're basically done for right now. So thank you guys for watching. If you like what we're doing, please leave a like or subscribe, and keep up with the Mazda that we have and the Hardbody. We're doing all kinds of mods. We also have a couple other cars that sometimes we'll post, but that's gonna be, you know, a little bit later on. So hopefully you guys like it, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.